So, I don't really know how to structure this. I thought the best thing would be to tell things in some kind of chronological order, and also to give some kind of background on where I come from. And maybe I'll start with telling how I'm feeling right now at this moment. Not so well, and I feel a bit uncomfortable with knowing that the people I live with are in the apartment as well. So, but I guess I'll get used to that, because most likely I will be making a lot of these films. I've been spending some time now thinking about making these films, and I realized that it's better if I kind of tell my experience of getting into political activism instead of just talking about the squatting scene in particular, because it's really an overall experience that hasn't been very pleasant, and that I would like to change, hopefully. So this is a story I've told many times. I got into feminism year 2000. It was a midsummer party in Sweden, and there was a woman who was talking very patiently with me, and I was probably very obnoxious and telling her how stupid she is and all this, having this kind of attitude. And she got me to read a book that's written in the 90s by a Swedish author called Nina Björk, and the book is called Under the Pink Blanket, and it's kind of a light version of Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex, with, well, the basic thing from that is that you're not born a woman, you become one. So that was the opening for me, and after that I got into reading zines and other magazines, and also well, it's been a long progress for me. It's been many years I've been into this subject now. Basically, reading feminist texts for me has been this kind of world-shaking experience, stepping from one reality into another, understanding a lot of things that have happened in my life, and like seeing how it fits into certain patterns. So reading certain feminist texts is like putting a blueprint on, and you see that, wow, this is how it works. I really recognize this. So, but yeah, it's been a gradual but very intense experience. Stepping in between different realities. The patriarchal reality, where everything I do is wrong and bad and I suck, and then the feminist reality, where, wow, we can be different. So I think from there on, I was living in Spain for some time. I ended up in a couple relationship with a young man. I was 25 and this man was 19 and working for some internet service provider company, and I was doing part-time cleaning work, and we were living together, and I was cleaning the house as well, and basically just drinking and doing a lot of drugs, because yeah, it wasn't really, yeah, I guess I was still looking for what kind of possibilities I have in life, what life is for. And so I spent a lot of time at home in front of the computer, and I was reading the mainstream magazines or papers, daily papers in the Swedish papers, and even in the mainstream media there's kind of a feminist discourse or discussions going on, and there was talk about pornography, and I don't remember, maybe it was prostitution as well, same difference. But I was getting curious about that, pornography, I think. And then I was searching the internet, and I found Andrea Dworkin, who I think the first text I read was from a book called Intercourse, and it really made an impression on me. She had a very clear way of putting things, pointing out the obvious many times. For instance, this kind of standard idea we have that the first time is supposed to be painful. Everybody knows that the first time you have sex, which is penetration, then it's supposed to be painful for a woman. And she kind of describes it differently, that no, it doesn't have to be like that. So I don't know how much I should explain, because I usually get this feeling that nobody understands me, and then I just get into over-explaining things. And very often it's necessary as well. And very often people get bored and they kind of lose what the hell I was talking about. So I was giving a background. Yep. Then eventually I also got into analyzing what was going on in that couple relationship, and the arguments that we were having, coming like every 2 weeks or whatever. And I started realizing that instead of getting into these, I was reading an analysis of John Gray's Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It's a horrible book, especially if it's women who are in not so healthy relationships, in hetero relationships, and then they get to read this book, and then they understand that, aha, I'm just supposed to change and then everything will get better. So it basically blames women a lot. So I was reading an analysis of that book, chapter by chapter, called, I don't know, I'll put a link somewhere, probably underneath this film. That was really, really good, because it really explained it really, really well to me, how the gender patterns and how the power works in relationships, and it helped me a lot. And well, so I got out of that relationship, and then I fell madly in love for the first time ever, and that sucked, and it's not so important, but it was an opening experience for me, very painful, but really opened me up emotionally. And so it had a big, made a big difference in my life. And then I moved to Finland, and then I continued getting into feminism, and then finally I took that step where it's kind of impossible to ignore all the oppression, and I just knew I needed to do something, so I became active in my feminism. And I've done that very randomly, just trying to get in contact with different groups, different organizations, whatnot, and it's been taking some time before I kind of found my own thing, which apparently is making this blog and spilling all the secrets about the Finnish movement. So I think that was kind of, yeah, that was a background piece, and then I will continue from somewhere else. Yeah.